producer.
That's me, producing. You wouldn't believe. Wouldn't catch
Producer
me off
extraordinaire.
guard. We're live. Yeah. How about that? We're live. Another episode of the Odds Pod. Welcome. I'm Ben. This is.
Hello, I'm Dave.
And we're as smooth as you'd think we are. You know. There's
Yes.
no pauses or anything. But we're joining us. We're a writer, artist. Working on our book, The Odds.
We're one organism.
We are basically.
We are one.
And Dave. Or Dave.
Hive mind.
Dave Hendrick. There's something there. There's something in there.
Yeah, there's something. Anyway, hi, we're back. Come hate watch us.
What did you say?
Come hate watch us.
Yeah, that's it. That's just give us some shit. Yeah.
Love a bit of that.
Whatever you want. But we're going to talk today about all kinds of things, pop culture, all things apocalypse, and things that are kind of merging somewhere in between, like we usually do.
Like real life.
Just like real life. But like usually we catch up a bit more about them. Just kind of wondering, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. It's been about a week.
It's been exactly a week.
Apocalyptic happen. Yeah. Usually we catch up in between. But last week, work has a way of getting in the way, I think.
Just been a bit busy. It's been a bit busy, mates. Yeah. What's up? I don't know, like loads and nothing at the same time. But I think we should probably go straight into my favorite topic.
Oh yeah.
What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
There's been
get everything up here. Let's get this all sorted because guess what? We've got more stuff about the smelly orange. And this is slowly becoming my favorite part of the show, by the way. Like I really enjoy this bit.
Oh yeah.
I really do. Yeah, this is not something I was expecting when we started doing the live version, but I'm very happy we have.
I'm one of those people who just can't stop talking about it. But this week now, so the defense for Donald J. Trump rested today after not calling him as a witness in a trial where he's being prosecuted, which is really weird. But fair enough. It's happened before. I think Al Capone refused to give evidence, didn't he? So, but what I wanted to kind of draw attention to this week is the kind of Batman-esque rogues gallery that's been surrounding him of late.
That's perfect because I got a very Batman villain-esque character, another drawing from the trial, and like it couldn't be more of a villain. Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
I mean, just paint that hair green, you know.
You do the Caesar Romano, the old mask kind of in around there, those colors, the blue and the white, and I think it's pretty much done. That's him, you know. Caesar Romano.
I mean, look at the drawing of the judge. Have you ever seen a more dejected individual who's just praying for the end? You know, he's
I have to listen to this guy again. Yeah.
Just like this,
or is he just holding his nose because we know what he smells like on the bench?
Well, he didn't. He didn't have to listen to him. That's the thing, you know. So after 2 weeks of like sitting there doing this, Trump didn't say anything in court, and nothing at an allotted time that he could have. And the defense is arrested. But in the meantime, some very strange. I don't know if strange is the word, but a few individuals have shown up. Rallied around him. Now he hasn't shown up because he was missing. So Rudy, America's mayor, was missing in action for about a month. They were trying to serve him with papers, and they eventually got him coming out of a party I think held in his honor in Florida. So he's been served.
Party? Are you serious?
Yeah, he's been served. With the election fraud case. I think it's in Arizona. I think is where that's gonna where those charges are being brought.
Ooh.
So he just got served. But He alone looks like. I mean, look at that. I mean, who wears a red tie with a black shirt these days? Come on,
The
you know.
Kingpin, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I mean,
wardrobe.
other than cartoon / comic book villains, you know, or 15-year-olds going to their high school dance and they want to make a point, like you know.
He's not 15. He must be the villain. Yeah.
And he's not in My Chemical Romance either.
Yeah, that's
So
true. That was an option.
yeah.
That's a red tie option. Yeah. It's I mean, so what if they found him at a party? Like, what was his excuse? Does he just say he was like, I don't know,
Well,
partying?
it was up to them to find him. I mean, everything in that crazy, wonderful world we call America seems to be, the onus seems to be on the person doing the chasing. So yeah, they had to find them to serve the notice for the charges on him. So why not? I mean, they should have just held a party in his honor. That would have been quicker because he would have shown up to it.
You just lure him into it.
Still
Yeah.
egomaniacs as well, But go to that next shot, right, of the courtroom. Yeah.
Who we got?
You have got so you've got Alan Dershowitz in the background there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the lad with the glasses, OJ lawyer, and did some work for Jeffrey Epstein over the years. But to the left of him, in the kind of Elvis wig, you have a fella called Chuck Zito.
Chuck
right?
Zito.
Chuck Zito.
That's a
And
fucking name.
So Chuck Zito is an actor, but was the leader of the LA chapter of the Hells Angels.
Right.
Did time for drug trafficking.
Okay.
And is there supporting his man, and then right at the back you've got the Scarecrow / Eric Trump. So you've just I mean, these could be straight out of Dick Tracy, or I mean, scroll down to Chuck's portrait there. I mean, come on.
I mean, it kind of reminded me of like a WWE wrestler, like one of the shots just before they put a mic in front of him. I mean, look at that. That get up is something out of a comic book. It's
the claw hammer. Like it's like, who is this guy?
Yeah. He was the leader of the Hells Angels.
He was the leader of the LA chapter of the Hells Angels. Yeah.
Wow.
Great bunch of lads, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Cool. So you got Chuck, you got Dershowitz, you got Eric there, you've got any number of conservative right-wing gangsters, all backing up their man, and as the polls seem to bear out, a spell in courts does no harm when it comes to the presidential race. So
I really hope they take advantage of this and put him on the stand, so we can kind of get like an Ultimate Warrior type, like front in front.
No, they're not gonna. But I mean, they might be putting him on the stand in like 5 years' time, after he's been, Secretary for Defense or something. Because this is why these guys are showing up. They all want gigs,
Yeah.
So what position would you put Chuck Zito, former leader of the Hells Angels? What position in the cabinet would you give him?
The House. I mean, this guy is going. I get Ultimate Warrior vibes here. It's going to be amazing. Put a mic in front of him, and it's just he's going to let it rip. It's going to be.
But are we going to give him? Are we going to give him health secretary, education, maybe? Like, where's he going to sit in the cabinet? Where
Would you give him? I think he might have been right there with Minister of
Defense.
Yeah. I mean, like, he's got Hells Angels background behind him. Ross is a tough guy. There's going to be a bit.
I could see him easily negotiating the geopolitical issues around Russia, and
that'd be incredible if all of
the Middle East, maybe. So send a guy called Chuck Zito in the Middle East who has a background with the Hells Angels, and let's see how he gets on.
Hells Angels invade Russia. That'd be something. Like, that would be the next step of how that kind of unravels, I guess. I mean, hasn't Putin put someone, a minister or someone in economics, as his new minister of defense or something as well? So I mean, there's weird games been played over there too,
Yeah, but it doesn't mean everyone has to take part, you know? Just because one lunatic has decided to make crazy decisions doesn't mean there has to be another lunatic to do the same. And it's just, and you're like, you have touched on something. There is this gathering escalation of nut jobs, which we saw with the last Trump administration. Like it was surrounded by morons who were all told they were great and they were doing a great job. Like, that the last education secretary you had, Betsy DeVos, she's like insane. Anyway, that's enough about that. But yeah, let's if you want to, I mean, come on.
There's the red tie again.
I'm not okay. Like
he doesn't have that big, like, intimidating presence that he has, like the Kingpin or the Kingpin. But he almost has the same posture where there's no neck,
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, it's very teenage goth that way, So it's more. It's more My Chemical Dependency as opposed to My Chemical Romance, And then we've got Al.
There's a few guys that are chemically dependent.
There's a man who's gotten many a 4 a.m. phone call, from very wealthy people who should know better.
Well, unfortunately, these guys don't know better.
How deep do you have to dig a hole so the dogs don't smell? And
he'd probably know the answer. That's the thing.
He'd know
at this stage, Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we move on to some happier stuff?
Great bunch of lads. Yeah, cheers up there, Ben.
Yeah. How about some of this? I don't know about you, but I was really happy with this show last week.
It was savage.
Wow, did they stick the landing? It was just beautiful. Really enjoyed it. They added everything to what came before it. I guess they did have lots of material to draw from, but it didn't stop them kind of making it their own. And I mean, I was never a big Scott Summers fan, because when I grew up, it was Wolverine. He was the whole man on the.
Yeah, because you were edgy and cool,
Yeah, I'm still trying to be cool.
You weren't some kind of Boy Scout. Nah,
you're
a cool edgy guy.
Yeah, I'm not a nice guy at all. Yeah,
I can see young Ben running around Wexford at the age of 8, calling people bub.
Trying to, I probably did try to do that at one stage, and then I'd imagine it's one of those moments where I said, "Oh no, I've called someone bub in real life, and now they're all looking at me like I'm a weirdo," and they were right.
Yeah,
I probably did that.
Then they both hated and feared you, so you were like, "Yeah, I'm an X-Man."
No one feared.
I have no friends.
Trying to be Wolverine, Especially the 8-year-old trying to be Wolverine.
Yeah, I like that.
But I thought it was so good, and I thought it was such an interesting move from Wolverine to Scott Summers as well. And I thought, and it only occurred to me like over the weekend when I was thinking about it, because I couldn't stop thinking about it. At this version of Scott Summers, even though he's kind of put forward as kind of like it's kind of shown through him and Jean's point of view, really, and he's shown as the leader of the X-Men.
Yeah.
But we're seeing a Scott Summers who almost out of his own accord doesn't side with Magneto, but has the same views as him, but would never admit to having those views. And not that they're the same as Magneto. He's annoyed with humans as much as Magneto is, but he's still trying to play the good guy. And he's also having what would you call it? A kind of a psychic affair on his wife. Like,
have you never had a psychic affair before?
No, have you?
I'm having one with you right now. To me, my X-Man. It's he is. He's doing the dirt. Psychically.
He's not the Boy Scout, he's dealing with quite a lot.
He's a man of many layers and complications. Yeah. He's like it's about the best iteration I've seen of him since maybe like the Simonsons had him, and he's great.
I mean, so good. But everyone was so well crafted. I thought. I found out that episode, remember it, is now up for any contention. We're going to be
cool.
considered contention.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great to see. As an animation, I'd say it's going to be hard by to get to win an Emmy or anything like that. It's animation always struggles in those kind of popular or pop contests, but I hope it does well.
Yeah, look, if it wins it's well deserved. If it doesn't, it's all rigged, But that episode, so I was down in Big Bang Comics in Dundrum recently, today, and I was talking to young Kieran down there, and we were talking about X-Men 97, just at the display of X-Men 97 action figures, of which there aren't very many left, and
good.
Like he was saying, Gambit totally sold out after that episode, after Remember It, and Gambit you couldn't give away back, even that figure, because those figures came out about, I don't know, 6 months before the show aired, because the show was meant to air 6 months earlier, and then it got delayed and it got pushed, but Hasbro had made the toys and had sent the toys, and the toys were here, So all of those figures warmed the pegs for a good while until the show came out, and the power of the show. Gambit sold out, Rogue sold out, Psyche sold out, Wolverine sold out, Nightcrawler sold out. If anybody wants Executioners, they've got plenty of them. But it had that impact as soon as the show started. It was so funny. Like before the show started, they were there.
Yeah,
but they weren't going anywhere.
The folks buying the toys, were they new to the X-Men cartoon?
I've no idea. I mean, you'd have to ask John or Bruno or Kieran or whoever. But certainly in my house, the people who were buying the toys were not new to the X-Men because it was me. But the person who got the toys was definitely new to the X-Men because it was Liam, and loves them. And I'd say it's like there seems to be evidence that it's bringing people into comics. I've read a few kind of editorials and stuff where the movies rarely, if ever, had that effect, because people would walk into a comic book store, say after Iron Man or the Avengers or whatever, and say, "Oh yeah, I'd love a book," and it's like, well, here's 70 years of continuity. Where would you like to start? And
it feels like homework.
Here's 50 issue ones, and here's 50 volume ones, and they don't necessarily line up to the issues. And you got to, there's a whole thing, and you got to do a degree before you're going to understand exactly what's going on here.
Yeah.
Whereas this time around, Marvel kind of nailed it with, they had an X-Men 97 book come out the week the show started. They had just started Ultimate X-Men or restarted Ultimate X-Men.
Yeah.
So there were books starting, I think if you were to jump into Uncanny or whatever, or X-Men as it's called, at the moment, you'd be lost because the Krakoa stuff was all just wrapping up. But they had those books on the stand. So you could walk into a comic book store looking for X-Men 97 and find a book with X-Men 97 written on it, and you go, "Oh, thank God, there we go." That's what
it was always a problem, wasn't it? Because you would watch something in the Marvel films and going, "Oh, now I want to read the comics." Then you go to the comic book shop and it's not the same character who's on screen. It's the same hero, but a different character.
But even then, if it was, like, a lot of times, for whatever reason, and who knows what, like printing schedules, whatever, but the key books in those characters' libraries would be sold out or out of print, So it's like when the Hawkeye book, or when the Hawkeye show came out, the Hawkeye book, the David Matt Fraction book, wasn't available for a while, and it's like, oh, you could have sold boatloads when that came out. Those kind of things happened all the time, which was a bit nuts. But yeah, it seems to be bringing kids in, which is
brilliant.
phenomenal. Yeah, appears to be. Yeah, from kind of stuff I've read of stores around the place.
One thing I kind of did like, especially kind of because she was someone that I didn't really know too much about as a kid, was Jubilee, and then to see her powers kind of get shown off, and at the end in the last episode, she does something she hasn't done with her powers before, and probably wouldn't have thought about doing it if she hadn't seen her future self do something similar. And
Well,
characters kind of unravel as the show went on. I thought was really clever as well.
Well, I think it's defined, isn't it, that she doesn't actually create fireworks. She blows matter up on an atomic level.
Yeah,
and that's what you're saying, So so she's able to kind of charge things up and stuff. But I do. Well, my one criticism of it is, and there's never room for everybody, right? With X-Men, because there's a huge cast, and how can you give everyone an arc and blah blah blah? They still managed to give Wolverine an arc without giving him an arc, if you know what I mean. But they still did, which was nuts, because it's like, it's all about Scott or it's all about Jean. But they still managed, there was tiny little concessions to Wolverine every so often. It wasn't like he ever got an episode or anything like that.
Yeah.
But even at the end, they do that thing with Morph. But I thought Storm was really underused, even though she got the life-death thing. I think as a super powerful leader of the X-Men, I thought she was underused. Hopefully now we'll see her come into her own as a goddess or whatever in the next season.
Yeah,
the way it ended. Bishop had to go away to do the thing, but it was a shame because he's a great character, and so I was kind of disappointed with that, but look, we'll see. We'll see what they're like in the next season. It's interesting that you've got. We can talk about how it ended and everything. Yeah, we're okay. So when you've got them in different timelines at the end, which is one of the things the X-Men always did really, really well, was create a family and then break it up. That's and that leaves you, like, I mean, certainly me as a kid back in the day, I used to hate when they do that.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, I just want the X-Men to be together. But then that's the joy of the story, is breaking them all up, sending them all over the universe, all over the multiverse, all over time, because that keeps you hooked month after month, buying the comic to see if they do get it back together, So we're going to be in there. I mean, the Clan of Scanny stuff, which I wasn't really into as a kid. I bought it as a kid. I say kid, I was probably 20. I bought it as it came out back in the day. That Cyclops and Phoenix series. Was it called Cyclops and Jean Grey, Cyclops and Phoenix? I think it was called Cyclops and Phoenix. But that thing that set up a whole new epoch of kind of X-Men stories. It was 3,000 years in the future or something, and you've got them almost revered as gods in a weird kind of underground way. You've got Cable being brought up as a messiah almost within the clan. I was interested to see Gates McFadden is playing the leader of the clan. Did you see that? The mother.
No, I didn't pick out it was Gates McFadden.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, from Star Trek. Yeah.
Are we going to name her? Are you trying not to?
No, we won't. Yeah. But yeah. Where was I going with this? Yeah. So they have so you've got that happening down this end of the timeline.
Yeah.
And then down this end of the timeline, you're in ancient Egypt, and we run into our old pal
Egypt. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I mean, En Sabanur. I never let's say his name right, but
En Sabanur. Yeah.
I was afraid I'm going to say it wrong. But I wasn't expecting that to happen there. I thought they might have done something to lead us into more Onslaught, like I was kind of saying last week. But, more, it seems to be going in the direction you were talking about, where Onslaught will be played out, maybe even season 3, that kind of stuff.
Maybe, yeah. I think we're going to hit a mix of Age of Apocalypses or Ages of Apocalypse, I think, over the next one, because you had that after credit scene as well.
Yeah.
With the card, and
that was cool. I mean, at that stage, then you know what's going on.
Yeah, so we're gonna get Gambit as a horseman and probably Wolverine as well, because they were both. That's how he gets his adamantium back in the comics.
Yeah, yeah.
So he becomes War, I think. No, does he become Death or War? I think
War.
no. I think Wolverine becomes War,
Yeah,
and Gambit becomes Death. I think.
Gambit is Death. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen kind of Gambit as Death already in like that the fourth or fifth episode, where Xavier sees him.
Oh yeah.
So he's definitely going to go in that direction. And just on a note of Wolverine, there, and you mentioned himself Morph. I didn't realize Morph, or it seemed as though Morph had a thing for Wolverine when he turned to Jean Grey for him to kind of give him a reason to kind of hang on, because Wolverine is not in good shape. And I saw the other day that Bo DeMaio confirmed that's exactly what it was. It was.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. More confirming feelings for Wolverine. So yeah.
Feelings. I mean, Wolverine's whatever, 2 or 3. What was he? 200 years old. You know.
Oh yeah. So at least
he can't have been swimming. He can't have been swimming in the same stream that whole time. He would have gotten bored. You know?
No.
Let's face it.
I mean,
he went to war twice. You know. So you know, Morph might be in with a chance.
I think he could be. I mean, he kind of knows his favorite redheads anyway, so he's definitely with a chance. We also didn't know about what happened with Bo DeMaio and why he was fired. So he was let go just a few days before the series came out, but he'd also written season 2. I think we had known that much.
Yeah, I don't know. Did he? Is it written or is it just plotted?
I believe it was written.
Yeah, okay.
Or at the very least, it's in animatic stage at the moment.
Yeah.
So there's still a ways to go, but I mean, if they're at animatic stage, there's already a lot done. Scripts, lines, that kind of stuff. But there was word from a show called Hot Mic, I believe, where there's lots of talk about Bo DeMaio and previous place he'd been in, where he was just difficult to work with. So it could be something.
I can relate.
Yeah, right. It could be something else. Everything's quite vague, but
I think
we weren't sure if he was rehired or not by now at this stage. Now we know.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, the fact that there's nothing definitive about what did or didn't happen. I think we should just stay the hell away from it, you know.
Oh well, yeah, won't go into detail, but we were talking about it, and we were very much I hope he's hired back. But if we don't know what happened, we can't kind of get behind it, you know. But it looks like it's in full progress. And I had seen we were talking about like actually I'll bring it up a bit later on. But no, I won't. I'll bring it up now. We were talking about Spidey 98 last week because we saw him in the show and we saw him and Mary Jane.
Yeah.
And they have said that there is no plans for a Spidey 98.
I don't believe that for an instant.
But it's not a hard and fast rule, they said.
Yeah.
But they did say, for now, for absolute certainty, the Marvel animated universe will be done through the eyes of an X-Men.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't mind that. I love the X-Men. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Spidey 98 thing would make for a very lovely holiday special. And
I think you could be right there. Yeah.
You know, Spidey at Christmas.
Yeah.
Swinging around, trying to find Aunt May the best gift possible. You know, man, let's just do it. Also, we still have Spidey 98, and it's a better show than the original X-Men show was. So watch that instead, kids. It's great. But X-Men 97 beats them all.
I mean, what it was. They just got so right. Do you think they got it so right because they were able to kind of reference that Claremont and Jim Lee line of X-Men comics as hard as they did? Do you think they were able to pick and choose from that?
I think they got it right because it was made by somebody or by people who love the source material. I know it definitely wasn't just a job. And it pulled actual quotes from dialogue in the comics, and
Yeah.
and it wasn't just Claremont. I mean, you've Fabian Seiza in there, and you've got you've got a bunch of other writers, but it definitely honored the books from back then. Yeah. I mean, Joe Kelly and all those guys. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, why is it so good? It's good because I think they loved the source material, and they loved what they were doing, and they come across as really good crafts people. I mean, they know their stuff. And then their animation is a scary world now. Given the cost of it, and every producer in the world trying to cut corners, and you could see where, and they took the Mickey out of it too, but you could see where they were cutting corners, or using tricks to slow things down, or slow down the spend on screen. But then every so often they'd pull out all the stops in a fight scene or something, and it was like, oh my god, I didn't think you could do this in a superhero TV show. I've never seen more anime
That's
influence.
I totally agree. I mean, like, it was there were so many moments where it was so very anime influenced. All these explosions going off all around them while they're fighting, these quick cuts, movements.
Think about like the last 30 years, since X-Men when it came out in 92 to now. I mean, the influence of anime on the the TV watching, popcorn consuming nerd, like us and younger, has been phenomenal. I mean, back then it was Akira. That was kind of it, and then you slowly got into it from that dodgy shelf in Extravision, and whatever was
on the Sci-Fi Channel from to play something at 2:00 in the morning. That was your
Three Eyes, or Fist of the North Star, or something like that. And you started, but like kids today are they're well versed in it. They've grown up with it. Attack on Titan is as big to them as Spidey was to me, and so yeah, I mean, they demand that kind of action,
we certainly got it. I mean, even from the games where we see Cyclops' beam have such a kind of an impact of forcing him backwards when he hit something, that kind of stuff. I mean, there was so much love from so many variations of these guys and so many different media all put together into this. I think it's stitched together really well. It's just
I mean, when Rogue really goes for it with Bastion.
Oh, it was amazing.
That sequence is just
yeah,
amazing.
And then kind of landing in that Skrull compound, that was clever.
So the chatter on online about the last episode, is, so one of the things that I've seen big criticisms of is they try to talk Bastion around. They try to extend a hand of friendship. They try to change his mind,
right?
Which is what the X-Men do. They try to change your mind. They want you to not fall foul of your prejudices, and they want you to have an open mind and an open heart, and accept people for what they are. And then they just straight up mind control Magneto. It's like, no, you've gone too far. You've switched all the power off. We can't have that. You've got to switch the power back on. And it's a hard thing to do, because like, how do you justify it? It's a hard thing to do as a writer. I think the justification, I think the argument is wrong. I think the justification is, well, they've been trying with Magneto for decades. Bastion's a new threat. They don't know where he lands, and they can see a little chink of light there with his upbringing and his mom and all that stuff.
And it's not entirely true either. I mean, Xavier almost went down with him. It's not like they just mind wiped him. And as Magneto's mind was flooding with all these bad memories and nearly killed himself and Xavier wasn't trying to leave. He was staying there until he got his friend back out of it. And then it's like what you thought about family. He tells Magneto that the X-Men is a kind of family that he's found along the way, that kind of stuff. And it's happy days again. And I thought that was really done so well, regarding his memories kind of flooding back to him about, the Nazis taking his family. And
were they the Nazis, right? Because if you go back to the original X-Men animated series, they're not Nazis. Because they kind of sanitize the Magneto origin to be soldiers, because he's in this imaginary kind of country, back then. I can't even remember, but it always kind of got me about his art, because growing up reading the comic books, I was like, oh yeah, so that's what happened, World War II. But then the cartoon came along and it kind of took the teeth out of that, and I suppose they were trying to be, I don't know what they were trying to do, but they kind of sanitized that story, and
I hadn't realized.
And they shouldn't have, But I think they were going. I think they've kind of rewritten that with this. I do think they were alluding to Nazis and all that awfulness.
It had to be, right? I mean,
they use all the words. He talks about pogroms and all the stuff related to that, the Holocaust, etc. But I don't think he used the word Holocaust. But yeah, they didn't do that in the original show. But anyway, where was I?
I didn't realize that was the case. They tried to kind of skirt around it there, as opposed to say it outright. That's interesting. And
but I think it was the 90s, and it was, we're making the show for kids, so maybe an executive somewhere was like, maybe we should tone this down a bit, who knows? But
it does give that kind of creative team a bit of leeway with something that we don't know that's coming as well. Like they could change that to be something else. Yeah, that's cool. I hadn't picked up on that at all. That's really interesting. So like, there's
I think that Enter Magneto, is it Enter Magneto? Is that the name of the episode? I think that's the one. I think it's all in that. But
I'll check it out. But I thought it was quite good as well. And I don't know about you, but every time I see an asteroid almost hitting Earth now, I start laughing because I keep thinking of our Chicken Lube episode. Chicxulub for the
Chicxulub.
Every every time. Chicken Lube, the astronaut.
Chicken Lube. Yeah. There was did you see the meteorite over Portugal?
No.
At the weekend. Look up the footage. It's amazing. Anyway, so X-Men 97. Yay, we loved it. We want more of it. Yeah. And I can't wait to see who else is going to join.
Same. I think we'll be waiting for quite some time though, if they're only at animatic stage.
I'm okay. I'll wait, Yeah, I don't need everything all the time, all at once. Like it's,
Yeah, I'd be happy to give this time that it needs to. But it's something that it's something that I found watching this, like where I usually watch some Marvel shows, and I kind of find that there's always a couple of shows somewhere in the middle that aren't necessarily adding much to the story going forward. It's some kind of filler or this, and I didn't feel like this had that, and I feel like I could have had more of this. And it's the first time I've watched a Marvel show where like I wish there was more episodes, as opposed to feeling like if they'd cut this an episode earlier, it would have been perfect. Not that it was bad with it.
If they'd just given all the money they spent on Secret Invasion to these guys and didn't make Secret Invasion and then just made more cartoons and never speak about Secret Invasion ever again, then it would be.
It was a huge amount of money, actually, wasn't it? Like, I'm only recalling that now.
That was ridiculous. It was like, I don't know what it was. It was like $300 million or so, or more. It was insane. It was 8 episodes or 10 episodes or something. It was like $30 million an episode for something that looked like it was shot in the basement of my high school. Like, it just shocking.
Yeah.
I don't. I presume all that money went on the cast or something. You know,
It must have, because it didn't go on the credits, because I got in lots of trouble for using AI for the credit sequence.
oh yeah, naughty.
Someone else got in trouble for using AI recently, Dave.
Oh, they did.
They sure did.
They did. Our national sport, the
Yeah.
Gaelic Athletic Association.
I mean,
The guy.
yeah. One thing I really like about this is I love how his teeth become part of the face guard. You know, it's a real
Are his
it's
teeth
real
part of the face guard, or is the face guard part of his teeth? We'll never know.
but it's also the back and not the front of the helmet. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it lives in three separate, well, 5 separate dimensions, I think. Yeah, it's just so fucked up.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think anyone proofed it before they put it together and put it out, right?
Yeah, they made some stupid statement saying that, oh, well, we have a partner who puts these things together and we're trying exciting new things and, cool. I mean, when I try exciting new things, I don't send them out to the public, I do it from the privacy
first,
of my own home. I do, and I don't take pictures. But yeah, just like, it's just, what can you say? It's awful.
But like we've talked about AI before, and we're of the opinion, or maybe I'll speak about myself. I won't speak for you, but I'm of the opinion for sure that there is a place for
I love her for the lady. Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about AI eventually becoming like a production house type thing.
Well, yeah. Look, I think the genie's out of the bottle, right? And I'm not advocating this crap by any stretch of the imagination, but obviously there's huge applications for AI that we don't even know about. With all sorts of every industry, it's going to hit. Now, it's going to hit the creative industries hard in a horrible way, right? And like all of your white collar, mid-level jobs, AI is going to kill, right? That's all gone. So kids become plumbers because robots can't manipulate screws all that well. But I do think for the creative arts and for the kind of things that we like to do and would like to do, it's coming for that in a horrible way. But there will be measures put on it. I don't think there'll be enough measures put on it. Rishi Sunak is having a little party at the moment in the UK right now with all the heads of the AI companies, and they called it a summit. It was originally called a safety summit, but they took the word safety out of it. Why would you do that? Yeah, it's the AI war summit. We're going to build Terminators, but yeah. So for this side of things, I think the way forward for this is you're going to get knobs saying that they can draw when they can't, because there's all this, the whole you gatekeepers with your talent, and your years of training. Oh, you gatekeepers, just practice, art is a skill, not a talent. Just practice. I can hear Will Sliney in my ear. So yeah, I think what will happen, and what I think maybe the best thing to happen with this stuff is that it becomes something that you can play around with. Cool. Yeah. You can not necessarily apply professionally, but you can play around with, and it becomes a bit of a toy. And I can go onto the App Store and I can buy my 90s comic AI pack, and that is influenced by Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld and all those guys, Cantrell Feet or whatever the hell you want, right? And they get a cut of that. It's a license that you buy and you plug it into your Adobe Jingbao, whatever, and that's it. And it's just like any kind of licensed software. You've got to pay for it. They get paid for the work they've done and for the benefit of their talents on yours. And if there's a Ben Hennessy AI pack, I can buy that, and then I can create images that would be as if Ben Hennessy was drawing them or whatever, and you get a piece of the action on that. Because I don't think we're going to roll back from that.
Exactly what I'm trying to build at the moment. Like I started. It's become part of a job I started recently, and I had all these things that was going to go left, but it actually went right, and I had to figure that one out pretty quick.
No, you don't mean politically, right?
Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah. I don't, but it might tomorrow. I'll see how it goes, because every day is a new day with it.
Yeah.
But I very much like it. The more I've become familiar with it, the more I think I can make a Ben Hennessy production pack. So like, there's a model that's a self-trained model that wouldn't be accessible to anyone other than myself. So that makes it safe for me. Well, as safe as I think it is until somehow it gets leaked. I have to look into that before I do anything too heavy with it. Something where I can't go back, that kind of stuff. But I think there's real potential in making things like pitches easier, you know, unpaid work. If I was to have my own production house where I can say, I need designs based on my stuff that look like this, and I put in enough of my work into it.
Whoa! You do unpaid work now?
I know, right? Yeah. But I could get that stuff done quickly, you know, as opposed to you know, draw it out for a couple of years, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it won't look like this.
Correct.
You know, and it won't be bad
because your first pass might look like this, you know. But then in the hands of someone who's made a production house, you don't put this out. That's not the piece you use. You now go back in and use this as a kind of a step one. You draw over this, you paint over this, you use this as reference. You know, it's getting better. Like I mean, I've seen stuff come out of AI recently, and it's far superior than this. I have no idea how this got past anybody. It's so extremely flawed. Like, I mean, who's holding the hurl there? Even, you know, it seems to be connected to some kind of weird bony elbow because both hands.
Like, there's an arm over here. There's an arm there. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just a disaster. Not paying attention, but like you can also.
It's all a bit Hellraiser. It's all about body horror, really, isn't it? You know. Yeah.
That's one of the characters in Hellraiser I wouldn't mind meeting. You know.
Yeah.
In a
not
jersey and a
Schlitter face,
half in out of his face, half out. You know?
It's just, I don't know what you can say about it, but it's just bad. I saw another one where they've got like soccer goals on the pitch.
Really?
Yeah. Come on.
The GA might not like that. I mean,
your average GA fan would go mental at that.
Yeah, of course. That's such a huge mistake. I mean, any fan of any sport seeing this would.
So we should give a shout out to artist Brian Masterson who brought this to the world's attention on Twitter or X or whatever.
Sports artist. I mean,
brilliant.
You know,
absolutely brilliant.
Images have reference for him and let him go about his business. You know,
It's like we've any number of great artists like Brian in Ireland who would happily work for the GAA to create amazing images on their programs. Why this? Like, it's just the more you look at these kind of images, the less you see. Have you noticed that? So there's just no depth to them.
Yeah,
like I can say, right, okay, so here's an amazing human produced piece of art, right, that your friend of mine, Adi Granov, produced. Right, it's a variant cover for the Sanford Green Jonathan Hickman Doom book that came out there last week, and like, just amazing. And you can stare into the eyes of Doom for hours. There's so much in that, right? There's Adi's 40 odd years of training right there, you know.
Yeah.
And you stare into the eyes of these pixels, there's nothing. There's nothing. It just doesn't give you any, like, art should give you something back. There's nothing coming back from these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not given the right kind of care. I mean, like, it's just not finished, you know. Let that be a first draft for someone. Send that to an artist and let them use it as reference or have them Photoshop it into something that actually should work. It's part of a process. It shouldn't be the process.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
The horror of the wire running into the face. It's just I mean, take that off the screen, Ben. I can't look at it anymore. Let's talk about something else.
All right, so here's a happy one for you.
Quick
one on this because we haven't seen the trailer, but the trailer for Acolyte came out. I saw the first trailer. Looks really good. It won me over. And then I generally avoid trailers because I feel like they give everything away. But I've heard lots of stuff now about the book. I heard there's a character from the book, Vern, who has a kind of a whip lightsaber, who's going to be in this. And
Ooh.
yeah,
Oh, right.
yeah, she's the first Jedi, I think, who's had that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So it's
New
I'm
toys.
really looking forward to this. I think this looks really cool.
Hmm.
And I think post Ahsoka, I'm kind of ready for more Star Wars. I'm kind of eager to get into something else now.
Yeah. I like that you've still got the GAA thing up.
Do I? No, I
Yeah,
don't.
she
It's over
she
there.
looks like she looks like a GAA player, ready to go. Yeah. Now, Star Wars on Disney Plus has mostly been good. I think mostly.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't tell you the name of any of the characters in the Obi-Wan show apart from Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, and Leia.
I mean, like, that's enough. That was I enjoyed that. I got into that after it had come out, like way after. I was too busy to watch it as it came out week to week. And
Yeah.
when I watched it, I was aware there was lots of people complaining about various parts of it. And then when I watched it, I kind of, yeah, it had faults, but still really cool. Still really fun. You know, it was just fun. Like Ahsoka was fun. And then we had oh my god, I'm gonna brain fart their name now. What was the best Star Wars thing to come out ever?
Andor.
Then there was that, and that was just
it was game changer. That is.
Okay, can't wait for more of that.
I mean, that's real life Star Wars, if you know what I mean. That's like that just feels like, oh, we're in a war documentary, or we're in a Ken Loach movie, or set in Star Wars for part of it, or it just felt like something I've never seen before. I'd never even think of seeing in a Star Wars production,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was there you go. But it was
sorry.
That's all right. It was Gacalite. It was amazing. Absolutely the wind that shakes the empire, it was.
It was. Yeah. And one of the best things Star Wars done, and not a lot of lightsaber in sight. I mean, I can't.
No magic. No magic.
Yeah. It was just gritty, brilliant writing. So enjoyable. And when you kind of remove those elements, you're still left with a fantastic story. I mean, I haven't heard anything about Andor season 2. And I'm kind of wondering if we're going to get it at this stage,
I think we're going to get it. Yeah.
Have you heard much about anything? Is there anything bubbling, rumors, anything in the background? I've heard nothing.
No, there's a commitment to make it, definitely. I think there's 3 seasons in the plan.
Oh, very good.
And it ends, like the 3rd season ends with Rogue One. But I think it's going to happen. COVID came along and upended the plans that they had for it, because it's that long ago that it started.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think once they can get it together, it'll kick off.
Yeah, something we'll be into anyway.
I'm fine to wait. If it's like, I waited my whole life to see Andor season 1, and it's the best thing they ever did. So, if I have to wait 5 years, touch wood, I'll still be here to see season 2. Fine, yeah, cool, let's do it. But just make it, please, because it's amazing.
But here's something you might have to wait another 5 years for. Was something I just discovered today is actually happening, is actually in the works. What is it? I Am Legend 2.
I don't want to see it.
Right?
Thanks.
Right?
Yeah. No, thank you.
Actually getting made.
No, thank you.
2 big names associated with it already. And apparently these 2 big names are actually coming up with ideas for the film.
No, really, no.
This is happening. Like I heard rumors of it a few years ago.
Yeah.
That's all it was. I don't know how they could make a sequel based on it. Really,
well,
like what? Money?
The book, the Richard Matheson book, I Am Legend. The whole point of that title, right? And I don't want to spoil it on anyone who hasn't read it, but like the book is whatever. What was it? 60s?
I can't even. 50s. Like I've
So you should have read it by now. It's really
I've
slim.
3 or
Just give
4
it an
times.
afternoon.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
But the last line in the book is "I am legend,"
Mm.
and it refers to the main character who has become the bogeyman to the
Mhm.
vampire race that dominates the earth now.
Yeah.
You know, the mothers whisper, his name, and so okay, they don't do that. They've never done it in any of the adaptations, in the Omega
Mhm.
Man, in whatever, right? So, and in the Will Smith version, they didn't do it with that because Hollywood has to have
Yeah.
formulaic stories and happy endings and all that shit, right? And so then, how do you make a sequel to that? There wasn't a sequel to the book, Was the dog goes on, like, you know,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
I
the book
can't.
ends on a really, really heavy note,
Yeah.
which is I am getting revenge for everything that's been taken from me,
Mhm.
everything, and if it means killing your children, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Or if it means your children being terrified of me, I will do it because I am the legend,
Mhm.
that will do that. And yeah, it's just no, I just
Couldn't
that
believe it. I felt the very same way. I thought, like, where are they going with this? Why are they doing this?
mm,
Like, I've ugh, just a lot of not getting the point.
yeah,
But I mean, the ending of the first one, I think it had 2 endings. I
I
can't
can't even
remember
remember.
what
I
one
can't
was
remember.
in the cinema, what one was on the
Yeah,
DVD. But it wasn't the book. And the whole idea of the book was, I think it goes a certain way. People who haven't seen it, I won't spoil it, but it's
yeah.
amazing and get into it. Um, but it doesn't leave any room for a sequel. It can't. It shouldn't happen. And apparently it's happening.
But he survives in the movie, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it's hinted. I think there was 2 endings. I think he kind
Right.
of, in
Yeah.
one of them he starts off, and another one then he's not, and he arrives in some place with them, some kind of safe haven, and yeah, like
Even that. Why have 2 endings? Like, why spend all that money
that
on
was it.
why spend that money on making a movie? Just make something, call it something else.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I think that's kind of what they should have done.
you are boring instead of I am legend. You are normal. What's with the really old Will Smith picture? Did you do that?
No, I didn't. I found this online because apparently both these guys are in it, and I was kind of thinking, like, what could you do with Will Smith's character? Because he'd have to be pretty wrecked considering the condition that he left the last one in.
Oh, you know what they're going to do? They're going to make him one of the vampires.
I was going to say, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And that's another thing I had with it. Why
So
weren't they
obvious.
vampires? They were kind of zombie things, They could have just been the vampires.
I don't know, because probably vampires weren't cool at that stage in the early 2000s or whenever the hell that came out. When did that come out?
Twilight? Was that when vampires were really cool? Everyone
But
was
they
like,
weren't vampires. They were sparkly fairy creatures or something. I don't know what they were. I have never seen any of those movies, by the way.
Same. And funny
I can't
story.
bring myself to do it.
I remember seeing the trailer for the third one, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was called Breaking Dawn, right? I remember that. And I remember thinking, I thought
Per
the name
Dawn.
Kirst, whatever, I forget the name now, was called Dawn. And
Oh,
in the
right.
trailer
Sorry,
was a
I'm reading the
picture-
joke.
Yeah. It was a picture, like, or not a picture, a scene of them, like, in the bed together, and ruins the bed with her. And I thought, like, well, they're really going all in on this.
All right, Dawn.
This
Yeah.
vampire sexy time thing. Yeah. That's their selling point, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But her name isn't Dawn. It's Belle or something. And
That was it. Yeah.
I
Cool.
only discovered that, like, recently. I had a right laugh out of it.
Gift.
Yeah. It's like,
let's move on.
No.
Please show me something cool. Show me something cool.
Something you'll like a lot.
Oh, look at that. Look at those boys and that girl. Look at them. Who doesn't love a bit of G.I. Joe?
Tell us what's happening.
What's happening there? Well, I mean, that's America's elite fighting force, G.I. Joe. Led by Duke on the left as you're looking on screen. And then you've got Stalker on the back right, Gung Ho front right, Snake Eyes in commando gear in the center, and his on again, off again love interest and ninja in her own right, Scarlet, on the left hand side. But yeah, it's something. Obviously, it's had a huge resurgence in the last 4 or 5 years with Hasbro, who who own it and have always owned it, and have relaunched the brand with G.I. Joe Classified, and Skybound have relaunched the comic book, continuing A Real American Hero, which started in 1982 in Marvel, and it's now on issue 305, which I read yesterday. Being published by Skybound, by the lovely Mr. Kirkman and friends, and yeah, it's going from strength to strength. But something that's been out of print for ages is the original run at Marvel. So the 155 issues they did at Marvel from 1982 to 1993, I think it was, or 1994, and it's coming out. It's coming back. Skybound are putting them out as these kind of large Bible-shaped compendiums, and there's going to be 4 of them, I think.
4, cool.
4 volumes, yeah, and you can choose to buy them in Joe colors or Cobra colors.
That's cool. That's really cool. I like that.
Or as I will be doing, both. Because all you have to do is stick G.I. Joe on something. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get it. Oh yeah, that's fine.
But you'll have to play too, because you'll have one, and then your kids are going to take the other one. You know, at least
I don't know if I can get the kids into G.I. Joe. I really don't. You know, they were like, Dad, the American military-industrial complex. Come on. Yeah, we'll see.
Of all ages,
there needs to be an animated show. There needs to be an animated show.
But
yeah. But yeah, so right now, so this is the thing, right? This is controversial, I think, in comic book land, and certainly for creators as well, and publishers and indie creators who publish their own stuff. Skybound are launching this on Kickstarter next week on the 28th of May. Now, it will immediately be available as, or from what I hear, is it'll be immediately available when it's published as sell through on in comic book stores as well. It'll be in the Diamond catalog or Lunar or whoever you're ordering your. I think Lunar do Image now. So, why would you back it on Kickstarter? Why are they using Kickstarter? You know. Why do publishers do that in general? You know,
that's it is weird. I think it is strange that like these guys are having to go into crowdfunding sources, but like
I think they're having to do it. I think it's an option to them, and it's certainly. I mean, look, printing and production and licensing costs a hell of a lot of money. So if you can defer some of your costs through a cash injection, effectively like an IPO into the business early on, great. And you know, use a platform like Kickstarter. I mean, it makes total financial sense, I think. And with a brand like G.I. Joe, which has a huge history and is at that sweet spot when it comes to its audience, where they are middle-aged, they're their original audience, they're middle-aged, they're nostalgic. Look at my office. They are harkening back to a simpler time, and they want to be surrounded by all the things they have when they were kids. And also, for the most part, they have the cash to make that happen. Why wouldn't you exploit that audience up front? You know,
and especially when it's been out of print for X amount of time.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like the only way of getting it at the moment is pretty much buying back issues or buying very, very expensive collected editions, which are out of print now as well. So it's all secondary market stuff, you know. So yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of arguments about using Kickstarter when you're a big publisher. So like you had the Keanu Reeves Berserker book go out in Kickstarter, like it broke all sorts of records. You've got Vault using Kickstarter now for books. So, you know, Kickstarter, which was the province of the indie creator, now sees more established publishers using them. should Image Comics be doing this? Because the argument is, well, it's taking money out of
The indies.
the indie creators' pocket. I do think with a book like G.I. Joe, I don't think it is, because
I agree with that, actually.
There's not too many indie creators courting that particular audience. I don't know. Maybe there is. If there is, let me know, because I'll read your stuff. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense in a lot of ways, financially, definitely, to do that. Then you're kind of thinking, well, not just wait for it to hit the comic book store, but I'm sure the Kickstarter edition is going to have certain bells and whistles and extras that you won't be able to get elsewhere. So do what I did, and
you'd like something in the book that wouldn't exist in the comic shop, as opposed to bells and whistles being like kind of types of merchandise, right? That's
add-ons or whatever. Yeah. I'd say there'll be something about the Kickstarter edition, definitely. But I don't know yet. So I mean, you can sign up for an update on Kickstarter now, and they'll keep you posted as to when the campaign launches, and what those special individual things they're doing will entail, I'm sure. So look, just we'll keep an eye on it. I mean, it's going live. It's going live this day week, on the 28th. So maybe next week we'll have a chat on the campaign.
Cool.
Yeah. And see what's happening. But I'm very excited all the same to have it back in print. It's great.
Yeah, I'd say there's lots of people like yourself who are very excited about this, But I agree, it is strange that it's going to crowdfunding. I think it's doing something for them, like where they're making sure they have a crowd who are going to make sure they at least break even on something, and then things that go to the shop might be the profit. But I mean, who doesn't want something like this that's a household name and has been unavailable for decades, maybe 2 decades? And
no, I wouldn't say it's been unavailable for 2 decades, but it's definitely been unavailable. Like IDW did, the last time they collected it properly, IDW did hardbacks of them. They were slimmer volumes, so there was like 10 of them or something.
Okay.
And that's probably 10 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. So at least a decade ago.
Yeah.
And now it looks like something that be extremely satisfying to have on your shelf. I say you put it on your lap, your legs are going to go dead. Make sure you have a strong table to put it on.
I bought a lectern. Not a lectern, but I bought a stand. I bought a book stand.
Right.
Because like all these huge books, we all end up buying. So I was like, well, how am I actually going to hold it and read it and stuff? So I ended up buying a stand that I can put books on, and it's like the Book of Kells, except it's
because
Captain Britain or something.
Over your head in bed, and to fall down your head, you're dead. Well,
yeah, if you fall asleep reading one of them, you're in trouble. Yeah. So look, we'll keep an eye on it. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I looked at the Kickstarter earlier because we were talking about including it today, and I think they something like 2,500 sign-ups for the advance notice, already on it. So
nice.
Yeah. And then something like 6,000 signed up on their mailing list as well,
That's cool. So if people are showing that kind of interest, they will put the effort, or hopefully will put the effort into like making this like a really good book for you to own. So I think there's a Joe and the Cobra cover, and that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's really basic, but it really works. Yeah. Look, we'll wait and see.
And you said you were in the Big Bang today. Do you want to give us a little look through what you got? Because
so saw that one. Sanford Green doing Doom. Woo.
The nicest guys out there as well. He's so nice. And
I mean,
so unique. Like no one has the same kind of shapes in their designs as him.
Dude, look at this.
There's so much going on there.
So much going on there. But like it's Doom at the end of the universe, really, and it's kind of a bit of a jump forward in time, and Valeria Richards being all sinister and cool. And yeah, it's great, and loved it. And don't know if anything's gonna happen with it after where it ends, but doesn't have to.
Yeah.
You know, does a
Yeah.
great job. More of these.
Cool. I haven't picked up that yet, actually. I must start it. You know, I haven't. How many issues is that in yet? Is there a trade I can go grab easily?
There's a trade out now. Yeah.
Nice. I'm gonna grab that.
Yeah. Get the trade, man. The trade's great.
Cool.
And speaking of which, I was at the Transformers 40th anniversary event.
Yeah. How was that?
At the weekend, which was amazing because you had so it was the first 4 episodes of the show, which was season 1 of the show, really, because they kind of put it out as 4 episodes. Let's see what happens, you know.
Yeah.
And so they called the whole thing "Till All Are One," and you had episode 1 on screen on the cinema screen. And the screen was, because it was the old format, I always get it wrong, 16:9 or whatever the hell it was, right? You know, so instead of having the black bars on screen, you had this kind of Teletron 1 interface. So here's one I made earlier, this kind of interface on the screen, right?
That's great.
So so you had this show playing in the bigger screen on the thing, and then you had a smaller kind of split screen, and in that split screen was the original voice cast, well, the ones who were left, Frank Welker, Peter Cullen, those guys, right, doing the reading of the episode as it played.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So it was very cool. Yeah, it was very cool. And so they did that for the first episode, and then they played the next 3 episodes as well, you know. So it was cool. It was like being 8 years old again, and I went with my older brother, who we were both huge Transformers fans, and just that age, we were the right age. Like, he was 10, I was 8. It was like, you know, just before it started, he leaned over to me and he goes, you know, they really should have Roland Rat presenting this. And I was like, oh yeah, because that's where we saw it first. It was on the Roland Rat show on so Roland Rat was a character from the Last Century Children, who was a puppet that would present cartoons on the television, on the cathode ray tube.
Yeah. Trying to play what channel he was the character on.
Yeah, I think it started with BBC, and then, because he was BBC, but then it switched. I think Transformers moved to ITV then, and because it was kind of contested, it was like such a big deal, and then it moved over to the Wide Awake Club that Mike Myers was part of at one point. Let me tell you. Really? I know my Saturday morning or weekday morning. Yeah, you know, Tommy Boyd, Timmy Mallet, Mike Myers, and Michaela Strachan. She was one of the presenters as well. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So yeah, it was lovely. It was like a great big huge warm hug from your childhood. Like, it was just like, here you go. Here's where it all began. Here's where
as well. That's such a great little thing to do. Like, it
was class. You know, it was class. And then you saw some of them. Like, because, you know, there's production on the voices and stuff in the show after the fact, you know, like this lad, like you've got your, you know, Soundwave and his mad voice, and it's got all sort of electronic augmentation and stuff on it, but like the guys doing the voices, they were just doing them fresh into mics, like no effects, and it worked, you know. It was so cool, like it just worked. So that was great. Anyway, more comic books. So out tomorrow. Dun-dun-dun.
Oh, nice.
Spider-Man number 50. Green Goblin's in it. I haven't read it yet. So don't know what to tell you.
Cool cover though. That's a take on a previous one as well, right?
Void Rivals. So part of the Energon universe, featuring this guy, Springer. But yeah, really good continuing story that's in and around G.I. Joe and Transformers, but not of G.I. Joe and Transformers. It doesn't. Yeah, but every so often you get a character that shows up. Superior Spider-Man, because I love Dan Slott.
Yeah.
So
Spider
you know,
Boy.
Spider Boy. It's kind of the, you know, he's almost the gimmick of the century, you know, but it's cool the way they've done it, and it's like, I've always been around. What are you talking about? It's brilliant.
I like it, and I think there's potential with that character. The more he'll be around, I think the better he'll get. You know, like there was the kind of outcry against Ultimate Spider-Man the first while that was out, and then it became like, oh, you have to get this. It's brilliant. I think the same thing can happen here.
Yeah, Spider Boy, like, he's made it. He's in. You know, he's part of the pantheon, and look, they put Dan Slott on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it. Yeah,
like, you're gonna read it. Hellblazer, Dead in America, so cool. Like, just so cool. Love it. This one has three kind of shorts in it set in, but it's all like different artists. John McCrae's in this one, actually.
Really cool.
Yeah, and it's just little spoiler. Out today, just gorgeous and hilarious, and you know, just Si's playing to John's strengths, John playing to Si's strengths. It's all good. It all works.
That's
just
brilliant. Yeah,
John McCrae forever.
Yeah,
and then dun, 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 dun.
Ooh, that's another good cover.
Yeah, great.
Every Cobra Commander cover has been really something good. Really,
yeah. I've just been looking at it here under the light, and the inks are so nice on this.
Limited color palette, big shapes, eye catching. That's going to stand out anywhere. I love that stuff.
So for the Transformer fan out there, the old school Transformer fan, you see that version of Cobra Commander right there?
That's awesome.
So that is that's a callback to a late episode of Transformers. So Transformers and G.I. Joe never crossed over in the cartoons. Never did, not in the cartoons. Bar one appearance in a post Transformers the movie episode,
right.
Where this character showed up called Old Snake, and it was Cobra Commander, but it was set in the future, because if you remember the movie. So Transformers the movie takes place in 2006. It was made in 1986, so that was 20 years into the future. So then the subsequent seasons after that would have been post 2006. Yeah. So but you would have been watching them in like 1987, 88. So it's all set in the future then. So he's Old Snake in that. So it seems like the whole G.I. Joe Cobra thing is over, and he's just wandering around causing problems on his own. And he features in the episode, and he's dressed like that, and that was kind of
awesome. I didn't know that at all. That's cool. That's
why would you know that? Like, it's that's what I do. I interview anybody I'm going to work, and I go, and do you know who Old Snake is? No, okay, no. You're right. You can't be my friend.
Yeah, nice. I think that might be everything. Is it? Any more swag?
That's it for the comic books this week, I think. Apologies to anybody I know who's got a book. Sorry, we didn't do it last. Oh, it's in the pile here somewhere. Gary's book, Where the Blood Has Dried, issue 2. I have it here. I'll pull it out later. It's really good. Go and buy it.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I've read up to the last issue, and like I can't wait. It really does wrap up quite well. It's really good. And fantasy fans out there looking for a fantasy book, that's the one you want to get.
And quick toy update. Didn't buy any toys this week. Whew. But then I did. I didn't buy any toys that were physically available to me this week. But I did buy the Four Horsemen's Egyptian God pack,
cool.
Which, in fairness to them, was released on Saturday, and I got a FedEx notification say they're on the way and will be here next Tuesday. So hopefully they'll be here in time for our
watching every knock on a door now, every doorbell ring, anyone kind of strangely in a delivery truck, maybe possibly holding a box coming your direction.
Not really, man. It happens every day here. Like, it's a problem. I mean, look at me, like, for God's sake, like, it's somebody stop me. So yeah, it's I mean, like, the amount of empty boxes over there. Like it's it's embarrassing.
At least they're not still full. That would be worse.
Yeah, I saw there's a friend of ours I saw post something recently online on a platform that used to be good, and
I wonder what one it is.
yeah, and and it was about him selling off some toys,
Right.
and he's like, yeah, I'm just putting some toys up for sale, but I'll never get rid of these. And they were Batman the Animated Series figures that Diamond did back in the day. They're the ones up that
Recently?
if you can see at the very top of the bookcase there. They're those ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, the ones he had, they're all boxed. The ones he was keeping, I was like, oh, that's so sad. I mean, I get it, but take them out, let them breathe, play with them.
Some extra ones on the shelf, and they were just the other ones he kept.
They're there as things of joy. Pose them. They're fully posable. It says it on the package. But yeah, I don't get it. I every so often I'll buy stuff and I'll be like, oh, this is staying in the box. This is definitely staying in the box.
Has anything ever stayed in the box?
No. I mean, look, nothing stays in the box. Absolutely nothing. So yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully they'll be in next week.
Very good. Get a look at them next week.
Nice one. Yeah, they look class.
They do look good. Like they're the ones based. No, I didn't see them.
Like Anubis and Bastet. No, I think I did show them to you.
Okay, cool.
I think I did. But yeah, come with loads of swag, and I can't wait to play with them. With my Indiana Jones figure, and I'd be like, "Oh, what's going on here?"
Yeah, we saw him all right. How's he doing?
He's grand. Yeah. So yeah, any news from you?
Nothing. Just been working. Taking in a bit of sun that Ireland's kind of got, and then that's kind of it. As I said earlier on, I kind of started a new job, and I've just kind of been finding my feet with it, and it's going well. Like, great place to work with nice people, and that's kind of it. Other than that, then, and tipping away on the odds. Did the odds stream last Wednesday? Don't know if you saw it. Got a page roughed out. Oh, very good, and got pencils.
Good page.
I'm really happy with that one. I'm going to do that again. So every other week on Ben Hennessy Draws is going to be a page of the odds.
Oh, nice.
And if it's going to be a spoilery story page, it's just going to be backgrounds. But that's how I'm going to do that going forward. Tomorrow isn't the page of the odds. I'm drawing Agent Venom tomorrow because the lads from Paddleoids are having me on their show. So after I finish on mine, theirs. And they requested Agent Venom. So I'll be drawing Agent Venom for those guys. And then I have about an hour, and then I'm back on their show, and it'll be kind of a Pictionary podcast type event. So
I'll be tuning in. I can't. Did Deck create Agent Venom? No,
I think Samney might have.
Okay.
I think so. Deck was definitely on it,
but he was in Deck's Thunderbolts team, was he? Was that it?
Was he? No, I think Deck was on the. He could have been. Yeah.
Was he in the Venom book? I can't remember. Deck's done everything anyway.
He's not so much. Yeah. Trying to find a character design for this guy. He just has a lot of Deck's work come up. So he's definitely put his stamp on Agent Venom.
I wonder if Deck will be tuning in tomorrow now. Go on.
Critiquing. You're doing it wrong, Ben.
Do it better than me.
But yeah, looking forward to doing that. I've
just been a knock on the door. A couple of heavies from Ennis will show up, break your fingers, and leave.
Yeah, that'll be a bad time. It's done live, so it might get great views. Might bring up some numbers,
Oh yeah,
bring me up live on camera. Yeah, that should do well. Yeah,
cool.
So that's where you'll find me tomorrow on
getting beaten up.
Hennessy on the tag you'll see here on screen. That one right there. And the same on my YouTube and my Twitch. So you'll find everything there. I'll have all the details up tomorrow. And like most things on the stream now, it's something I've never drawn before. So I kind of figured out at lunchtime, and then I hope
you know, be grand.
Yeah.
Not that bother.
How about yourself? Where can people find you?
Oh, I don't tell people where to find me. No, on the usual platforms, Dave Hendrick or Dave M. Hendrick on some of them. Look, if you really want to find me, I'm around. Just I don't
call over. He's waiting.
Get me on my pager. 1-800 boom. But yeah. Do you really want to talk to me? I mean, look at me. Come on.
Everyone.
It's all good. Dave M. Hendrick on Instagram, Dave Hendrick on X, and
you're on the Blue Skies. You're on
Blue Sky. I haven't been on Blue Sky in ages.
Instagram. You're kind of on the whole lot. So is as well. You'll find
on ketamine,
the odds pods on everything.
That's right.
And
here comes the music. They're playing us out, man.
Yeah.
Just want to thank my agent.
And we will see you again this time next week with more stuff. Goodbye.
We were really